Welcome to Volume 11 Rock Talk Podcast, brought to you by Volume 11 Music. Your hosts, Rich Hoffa, Rik Lawhorne, and Mark Dunn. Rock Talk, Volume 11 Music.
Hey, how's it going? Welcome to Rock Talk here at Volume 11 Music in Fredericksburg, Virginia. I'm Rich.
Rik Lawhorne.
I'm the artificial intelligent Mark Dunn.
Mark Dunn.
The AI.
Yeah, we're going to have what do they call those things?
Cyborg.
The thing that Kiss was going to do.
Oh, Kiss?
The fake.
The holograms?
Yeah, not holograms, but they're, what are they?
I don't know.
Well, we'll have to think about that.
But I got a hologram story for you with that from a while ago.
We can fuse that in with AI.
And the thing about Kiss, too, before we even get into this, they don't even need AI because Kiss can be the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus for the next 300 years. You just get four dudes that can play well,
right,
and put the makeup on them, and you've got the Kiss spectacle.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I agree.
Yeah,
that's right.
Totally they should be called Genius Simmons.
They are. I mean, the way they've done so many things, I agree. I mean, they're genius. I fully agree on that.
Yeah, that's it. So we're going to talk about, as we kind of broke into it, but we're going to talk about AI and how it's changing things in music and I mean, it's to kind of give you our aspect of it. I'll let you guys kind of start off on it.
There's been an element of AI, though, in technology with music for a while, especially with the groundswell of modeling amplifiers. And while it might not be AI,
right,
it's not AI.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
So, because you have impulse responses, IRs, where all these... Thank God these are easy to spell.
Yeah, I love these letters, man. Glad I learned my alphabet.
I mean, a good way to look at it on the positive note is like if you have computers obviously have been doing amazing things since their advent, and the technology improves, and now you can, before this real big kind of where we're at now with this kind of moment of AI exploding, you've had the ability for computers to emulate musical things for a long time, with grading qualities on the uptick for years and years. And, the ability for something that's not digital or recording something like a sampler, which was the first real digital recorder back in the day for you young folks, younger folks. But to be able to take something and play and say, I want the sound of the Ingle Ritchie Blackmore head into a Marshall 412 cabinet playing Mean Street by Van Halen is completely attainable now. But those you can get those in a modeler. You still have to do the work.
Right.
So the sound capability of AI has kind of been on the uptick for a while, but this new thing is like a computer can do it, which is a little worrisome.
Yeah. Well, my whole thing is with AI. I think it, and I use it, but I don't. Actually, kind of going to be kind of hypocritical because I don't think that I don't like how it can take jobs away from people, when you think about it, it shouldn't be okay. That it takes people's jobs. I mean, I know we've got to have progress and things like that, but it's when people are good at something. I mean, photography is one thing. I used to be really big into photography, and with the software and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of people, you can make good pictures yourself, but a really good photographer is going to be just a step above.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing with graphic arts. I mean, it's it's made things, like for me as a business owner, I mean, it has made things easy. I mean, you see the Facebook posts, those pictures and things. I do that with AI. And you just type in.
No
what
wonder
you
there's
want.
no pictures of me in there because there's no intelligence.
But you go in there and you type in what you want, and it'll populate some pictures, and then you can just change it until you get exactly
what you're
want.
looking for.
And then I do change them. I put my logo on them and put wording in them and things like that. But I don't know. I think that using stuff like that to do some enhancements is kind of one thing. Like Mark was saying, to duplicate, I need this type amp and this and that, but you're still playing.
Right.
But I don't know. Some of the stuff I've just got to the point with all the the voice correcting stuff, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's really it's.
Well, the human element, when it comes to that, still rules, in my opinion.
Yeah.
There's I don't know the YouTube page, but there's a guy that's been doing time correction and pitch correction on just iconic songs, and it completely ruins them. Now, there's the subjective question that you could ask yourself: are you just used to hearing it the way it was?
Yeah.
But there are people that sing verifiably flat, but it's cool. I mean, Anthony Kiedis from the Chili Peppers. If that's the note, he's right there, and it's just part of the style. And if you pitch corrected him,
it wouldn't be the same.
Right. Yeah. So there's that level of human nuance that I think hopefully will maintain. And AI isn't going to artificially create an Eddie Van Halen.
Right.
It has to take an input of what Eddie Van Halen was and is in order for it to associate.
Right.
And that should forever be the case unless we reach the singularity, and then we have a whole other podcast to do.
Right.
When the AI becomes aware.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think it's some of the stuff. I think it's. I don't even remember what the band was, but I remember reading on. I think it was one of the newer bands. I don't really know much about it, but it's I'm stuck back there. But it was funny. I was reading about it. I think on Blabbermouth or something like that they had to cancel a show
their computer
because they didn't have their laptop.
Their laptop, yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was it was a metal band. It was on a metal fest. I remember that.
And they were probably playing through their their MacBooks. Because I've seen a lot of those guys use MacBooks for a lot of. They're still playing,
right?
But they're using it for sound sources, and they don't have the amps and stuff.
Can you imagine Lemmy having to cancel a Motorhead show? I don't have my computer. Motorhead can't play today.
Throw your Marshall up there, turn it to 11.
11,
plug in your guitar and let it out.
I think ELO had that issue with Reel to Reel on a tour back in the 70s because they couldn't, they're doing this is original AI, really. I guess they were playing along to the reel-to-reels that would help buttress the sound of whatever classical instruments they were doing. Because to amplify a classical instrument back then in a rock setting,
nightmare.
Yeah.
And I also I was backstage at an Ingve show years ago, and they were loading discs for backup vocals.
Oh wow!
And they were off, and it was like a Godzilla movie. I was dying laughing. Oh my god! So funny. It was so funny.
I bet Ingve wasn't dying laughing.
And ZZ Top had their sequencer go down on the Eliminator tour on one or two shows.
Oh wow!
Okay.
And they were in a pickle.
Yeah, because
but ZZ Top can play.
Right.
Yeah.
They could ostensibly play "Give Me All Your Lovin'."
Just be different without the
exactly
right.
So that stuff happened back then, but I can't imagine a band now not being able to go do that.
Yeah,
right.
Play your stuff.
Yeah,
the laptop went down.
Yeah. I mean, at worst case scenario, the three of us, we'll probably play together this year. That's another pod. The three of us playing in a band, if we were relying on something, effects, sticks, whatever, and it crapped out on us, we could still play the gig.
Yeah.
Period. End of story.
You wouldn't have to cancel the tour.
And that, to me, that's where the personal aspect of performative music, not just recorded music, is going to be coming in.
Yeah.
AI is not going to replace that.
Yeah.
But I remember about a year ago, a true story, I had people go, "Hey, Rick, have you heard the new Beatles song?" I'm like, "What? New Beatles song?" I mean, no offense, but like John Lennon's been gone for 40 some odd years, and there's a new song, and it was like the AI thing where they had taken, I guess, a track that he had worked on and sort of brought in John Lennon and George Harrison and the members that are no longer alive, and then they put out, that song around Christmas time last
Alex
year.
Van Halen's talking
about Alex,
right
with Eddie.
And somebody asked me a couple years ago if I had heard the new Led Zeppelin song. And I listened to it, and it was Greta Van Fleet. So maybe that's Zeppelin AI. But I think that when you have things like that that AI could take and fill in the gaps of something that never got quite completed, I think that's interesting.
Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm.
Because it's not completely inorganic at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And for a computer software prompt to be able to run with previously recorded and extrapolate out from that to continue on tonally, performatively, feel-wise. I think that might be kind of interesting because it's not just, programs that play like Yngwie Malmsteen, play like Rik Lawhorne. You started it. There's something already there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, like a bread starter from New York for pizza dough.
My favorite one is what they call fake Drake, where there's these Drake songs.
Oh, they're hilarious. Yeah.
And it's not really Drake, it's somebody that's doing the AI voice,
like
but it sounds just like Drake. So,
and Sinatra singing a Snoop Dogg
Sinatra,
song.
yep. Heard some
Funny.
of those. So, yeah, it's just wacky, the whole AI. Like, where does it go from here? They've been able to duplicate these vocal tones.
And yesterday, I'm working on the soundtrack for a documentary about a race car. And I'm sitting there working on these little vignettes because it's just, I'm playing music that are going to go underneath the interviews.
Right.
But the stuff that's already there that's just kind of like accessible, I'm like, that, you can download and kind of use as placeholders, kind of like, photography or pictures that you can use.
Right.
And I'm like, this is just so sterile, that to listen to this. And I'm not saying that what I've come up with is better. It is. But it's like there's a human element.
The human element.
Right.
I'm watching the video footage and I'm inspired by it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
To then input. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know that could ever be replaced.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, that's the magic of with music. I mean, the whole human element. That's why, I still dig old blues records, because of that
100%.
human elements there,
Right.
And that the AI won't be able to really take out.
And I mean, there's the joy. I think that when you go see or hear, I can hear happiness from some records. I don't know that I'll ever be able to infer that from something completely AI generated.
No.
And it doesn't. I think that the boundaries of AI being limitless make it so that the human element is almost disregarded because humans have limitations on what they can play.
Right.
And if you just took an AI program and just made it do whatever, that to me is just fake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's also like with being too perfect.
I know it's rough for me to be that way. I try and on Wednesdays I screw something up.
But what I'm getting at is humans aren't perfect. So it's like I remember when we had a drum clinic back in the day at the old store, and it was Rod Morgan. And so I'm helping Rod. We're setting up the drum set. It was really cool for me because I'm sitting there with one of my idols, and we're sitting there setting up this drum set, and I'm helping him tune. And
Was it harder to set up a left-handed kit?
No, it's pretty simple, But we're setting up this set, we're tuning and everything, and then he starts the show, and he goes, hey guys, you're gonna hear things, it's not perfect. I might hit a rim, I might clack my sticks together or something like that. It's I'm human. It's not gonna be like a machine. And of course, he started playing it. It's you're just in awe of it. But but that's the thing.
Further from the Rod Morgenstein, but in Dixie Dregs, Rod Morgenstein, Dixie
and
Dregs,
Winger.
and Winger. So when I went and saw Steve Morse last year, which I mentioned in the other pod from last week, Steve Morse has worn out the cartilage in his wrist.
His picking hand.
Because of probably a few trillion repetitions of alternate picking. And so he's had to retrain his picking hand, which was incredible to see him do it.
Yeah.
And that to me is the core of the human element, where he had to adapt to be able to play things that he wrote decades ago that are top shelf intricate.
Right.
And do it.
Yeah.
And to me, that is the human spirit, and that's amazing when it comes to music or anything else artistic.
Oh, yeah. Well, how about the drummer for Def Leppard?
Oh, for sure.
I mean, and that's something where technology, he's still playing, but they built that kit where he could, he's lost an arm, and he can, he still plays. He uses a foot for, certain things and stuff like that. And the guy's still out there playing.
And kudos to Def Leppard for not canning him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because a real band is a family, which AI is not ever going to have a family.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's a good point. And that was on the cusp of electronic drum sounds.
Yeah, that was
being played.
Yeah.
Because before that, really the good electronic drum sounds were the Linn drum, which Prince was using a lot. Which was, again, early, not AI.
Right.
But not AI.
Yeah.
You're programming this device to do that.
Yeah.
They answer like Phil Collins, who's already a good drummer, but he was still using drum machine, on his on his own songs, even though he's a great drummer.
Oh yeah, I mean, like we could take this kind of back to the AI kind of Garden of Eden or Genesis, really kind of around drums,
right?
Because if you think about the in the '80s when the origins of rap first hit, you had these rudimentary drum machines like Dr. Beat from Boss, but that sound or an 808.
Yeah, remember the 808s?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That sound is now it's like a guitar tone for that era of music.
Yeah,
right.
And they were taking sound waves that they were digitally recording or copying and then allowing you to manipulate it. So it's kind of interesting to talk about it in that form. What do you think about hearing a rap tune? And I've got some of my friends have their kids are now SoundCloud beat artists.
Yeah.
So they create these loops and these beats that other artists come and buy.
Oh wow,
from.
okay,
Right.
they buy the beats.
Yeah, and a lot of them are harkening back to that 80s awful technology.
Yeah,
that
right.
actually sounds
Yeah.
pretty good for those sounds. Yeah, it's kind of neat.
That's crazy stuff, but it'll be interesting to see how how things move forward and stuff like that. But I guess it all really comes down to what people will accept.
Yeah.
It's like whether or not they want to, accept something that's not, real.
I think people are always going to want to see live music.
Oh yeah,
and I think that.
So.
Like where we go to see the symphony play a piece from Mozart or Tchaikovsky now, and those pieces are 300 years old, right? I think we're going to see, and there's already been kind of this thing going on, because you guys might remember I did the Windborne tours, doing a rock band with the symphony, doing the music of Led Zeppelin,
right?
And Pink Floyd. I think maybe before we leave this paradigm, there will be troops of musicians, and there already are, but in mass doing Revolver by the Beatles,
right,
Sgt. Pepper's by the Beatles. So in a performative way that you would go see Tchaikovsky's whatever concerto being played, you would go to the same symphony hall and see a troop of musicians. I don't think that's ever going to leave.
Yeah,
that's never not going to be appealing.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But I guess that wraps up this episode of Rock Talk here at
Happy New
Volume
Year.
11 Music.
Second weekend.
Yeah, Happy New Year. And where are you guys playing this weekend?
I'll actually be off this weekend.
You're going to be off?
I don't get a lot of weekends off in 2025. This will be one of them. So I'm going to stay inside and hibernate and try to get over the whole bronchial sinus thing I've been combating for a few weeks now, and old man Winters
I'm surprised
throwing some dirt at us here.
A coughing stint.
Yeah.
I'm playing tomorrow, the 17th, I'm playing at Star Hill Brewery in Tyson's Corner, which is a really cool venue. I've had the band in there now, but this will be a solo acoustic show, and I'll be back in there with the band, I think, next month. But the Capital One building.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's a Star Hill beer garden on the top of the building, and then this is the brew pub right on the corner, right around from Wegmans. Very cool.
Oh,
wow,
very cool. That's awesome. And once again, I won't be doing any of that.
We're gonna play music this year. We're gonna get a bass player, and we're gonna play. We're gonna have a Volume 11. Some sort of. I asked them about this. This is an unofficial announcement.
Yeah,
that's right.
We're gonna do some music this year, and we're gonna, and to promote the store and the goodness of the store and the hang here, and it's going to be fun because I never get a chance to hang out with these guys except for
Rock Talk.
Yeah.
What are we going to call it though? Is it going to be called the Volume 11?
Volume 11. Volume 11 players.
V11.
That's
V11 players.
V11. Yeah, okay.
That's right.
Cool.
Yeah, that's right. We'll get out there some high octane rock and roll.
I like it, high octane.
Have a really good time. So. If you're enjoying the channel, please subscribe, hit that subscribe button, like the video, share the video. And again, if you have any questions, we love to hear questions. It gives us something to talk about, give you our perspective on all things music and anything else that you want to talk about. But we'll see you next week on Rock Talk. Have a good one. Peace.
This has been an episode of Volume 11 Rock Talk Podcast, brought to you by Volume 11 Music.